Vaingate Chronicles number 26. Hundreds of feet above the high elven city of Hemeth Tirith lays an ancient prison complex known only as the Sufferance. Said to be impenetrable, the Sufferance is a prison like none other. Its now flooded foundations were laid down by the giants in the First Age, aeons ago. Since that time, the first descendants of the primal elves, during what is now known as the Second Age, constructed a Mythal, a magical field which surrounds the complex's labyrinthine canals, walls, and ancient broken towers. A field which nullifies, banishes, or restricts all arcana within its purview, stifling spells, artifacts, and other magic not permitted within its bounds. Further, each inhabitant of this ancient magical jail is imprisoned, not in a cell, but upon a small, isolated, low-lying island, all of their own, cut off, where they must toil to survive, where every crop is hard-won, where good behaviour earns privileges such as seeds, tools, and livestock to survive their hardships. It is upon such an island where Gudael ran Talandaran, adopted brother of Gudael, that is to say, the adopted brother of Joanna's cleric, also known as Dala, resides, and it is his freedom that our companions seek on behalf of their beloved Gudael. But breaking in or out of the Sufferance is a nigh impossible task, a task never before accomplished. The Sufferance is said to house more dangerous beings too. Besides the political prisoners of the usurper king, a litany of innocents whose only real crime was to know too much. If the rumours are to be believed, the list of the damned includes drow warlocks, Orcan warband leaders, an evil sorcerer known as Razek the Dwaegar Seer, confirmed to have murdered hundreds of Banakayan dwarves, as well as some other dissidents of the Underdark. Bedtime stories for children as far away as Vanderhold mention the Sufferance too. They speak of a terrifying and alien creature with many eyes, known as Zargax, and a being known as the Mind Flayer. Under the stewardship of the mysterious Red Guards, once known as the Order of Barad Shah, the Sufferance is said to be a place of angst, toil, and terror. A nightmare full of hopeless damned souls tortured by their slowly ever-failing memories of past lives, and the monstrous guardians of the deep canals, the ancient broken walls, the ruined towers, and the muddy banks littered with petrified statues of those who failed to escape their madness or who simply gave up hope. For it is said that those condemned to the Sufferance are condemned to madness, a madness that only the most stalwart ever survive, if not escape. The rest fall prey to the monsters of the deep, the basilisks that roam the shores, or worse, the ancient and invisible guardians, themselves prisoners of the Mythal, guardians whose elemental fury is said to be contained only by the ancient seals of the primal elves of the Second Age. But there is hope for Gudael's adopted brother, Ren, for he is, and always has been, a stalwart type. For him, this prison may seem more of a test than a punishment. His will may not yet be broken. Bear witness now as we return to the Vaingate Chronicles. I'm Russell Kirkby, Dungeon Master, and I would like to introduce you to Barry Tahira, who tonight will be playing Orikaw, to Steve Austin, who's got the wrong the wrong title right now. I'm going to fix that in a minute. But Steve is waving. He's playing Leith Mr. Leith. You can imagine those two swapped with.
I could easily play Edryn Monkoff.
Right. Max Easy playing Edryn Monkoff. Steve Austin playing Leith Mr. Leith. Joanna Grotenhouse playing Gudael Dala Talandaran, and Michael Bates playing Adric Fogda. So we're going to do a couple of announcements before we get going. Over to you, Michael.
All right, so first up, guys, gals, non-binary pals, I want you to close your eyes for a second and imagine a world in which, yes, Max, close your fucking eyes. Yeah, that's right. In which kids aren't sick, or rather, where they're taken care of. This could be this world. In fact, you can make that world. So Daryl is doing a a little thing with Gaming for Charity, a charity that takes care of kids in, helps kids rather, in the Starship Foundation. A really noble thing, because kids shouldn't be sick, they should be playing around in fields. So, if you're feeling so inclined, you got a few spare shekels roaming around your wallet, your digital wallet, because cash isn't a thing anymore. I've just posted a link into our lovely, lovely group chat, and if it gets lost amongst the torrent of conversation happening in the midst of the game, you can find that on our Facebook page. So that's just Gaming for Charity. Give whatever you can. Every little bit helps.
Sure does. Yeah. So, Gudael, do you have an announcement to make about archives, I believe? Or are we doing Max first? I've got it all back to front already.
And you told us not to fuck it up.
I was like, I'm not going to interfere in this, and then I interfered. Okay, I'll just shut up. It's over to you guys.
Max, work your magic.
Hello, I'm about to work some magic because I'm a
Hell
wizard, not in real life. Unless
I
you
open
don't
my
know
eyes
that.
now.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
keep them closed. Play like that forever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be one of those games.
Hello, I am Max. I play Edryn Montkov. Edryn has been writing letters to his wife. Edryn has been writing letters to his wife about our exploits. You can read such letters, which are essentially recaps of episodes 1 through to a number that has not yet been placed in my brain for easy access yet. I'm a little bit behind because of study and work, so I'm going to get onto that as soon as humanly possible. I'm going to post in the chat a link to letters 1 through 18, which is episodes 1 through 17, because numbers are not my strong suit.
Right.
And this is how you can read in maybe good prose, who knows? That's down to you, actually.
It's pretty good.
What has been going on in the previous episodes. Or, counter argument, there is also Joanna. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Max. I'm Joanna. I also play Dala or Gudael. And I have been reliving the episodes lately and cutting them, trying to edit them down, make them a little bit more enjoyable to watch, although I enjoy them quite a lot and I have a hard time cutting things out. I'm currently working on the episode, I think it's episode 25. It's the one where we go to Dala's family's place for dinner, and finding it a little bit stressful because the game was quite stressful for Dala, and I'm reliving it, and I'm hoping to have that one done by Monday. So if you happen to watch it, if you could let me know if it was stressful for you or if that's just something that's happening to me because it was a stressful game, that would be wonderful. And I will put the link to our YouTube channel in the comments now.
Cool.
And please check it out.
It's always more stressful when it's your family, dealing with your family, and so all of the NPCs were your family, so I can understand how that could be difficult, family dinners and meals and but when you get highfalutin elves, I don't know.
The expectations are high.
The expectations. Okay, so back to the game then, I guess. Do we have any other mentionables or unmentionables?
The one.
One
Just
more?
the one unmentionable.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, disaster came to the Vaingate Chronicles. We lost our longest-running character, whose home was the very place which we are named, Vaingate. We lost the bastard prince of Vaingate, Milford Brixton.
Milford Brixton.
So, good people, I want you to, instead of closing your eyes, open up your third eye, and for a moment imagine that you are in fact gods. Because over here, watching, that's what you are. Looking at the bottom left of your screen, you will see some numbers. Those numbers represent your power, your divinity. And by donating X amount towards the 15,000 divinity to bring poor Milford back, you too can flex your godly muscles.
Right.
But I tell you, the longer he's in there, the more changed he will be. No longer will he be the Milford we know and love.
This is all true.
It is true.
So bottom left corner of your chat window, there's a little infinity symbol with a circle, a purple circle, and a dot and a thing. And as you're watching the channel, you earn currency points, channel currency points, which we call divinity, because we want you to feel like you're gods. And as gods, you have the ability to influence the narrative. So, yeah, donate your things to the thing and see if you can bring Milford back. That's, if you want to. I mean, I personally didn't really care for Milford Brixton, and you can leave him dead for all I care. He was a bit of an asshole, to be honest. Do you have any idea how much money that guy stole? Do you have any idea he stole like half? Oh my God, the money he stole out from underneath the Barakyle envoy of wizards, just boof, gone. From beneath the nobles of the Vaingate society, gone. He just took all that shit, floated it off on a boat with these bastards, Brixton's bunch, they call themselves.
I was just going to say, he was such a bad influence on us.
I know, absolutely. I mean, and now you're practically wanted. In fact, you are wanted in Vaingate, at least. So, there you go.
I've always wanted to be wanted.
Wanted to be wanted. It's good to be wanted.
It is good to be wanted.
Okay, well, at this point, I'm going to ask you guys to begin to focus yourselves back into your characters. We like to think that we run a fairly serious role-playing game around here. And take yourselves a deep breath. Step into character. Last I recall, you're sitting around a campfire. Is that right? Did you return to the building?
We did return to the building.
You did return to the building, that's right. And you took a long rest.
Yes.
You took a long rest, okay. All right, so you are going to wake up very gently to the sound of rain just outside. And those of you that wake up first will notice the rain falling in the courtyard. In the center of the apartment blocks where you're staying. This apartment has 6 rooms around a courtyard with a apple tree growing up through a rectangular hole in the center of the courtyard. And the rain is pitter-pattering on the leaves in the center courtyard right now as you're waking. So, Orikaw, what are you doing?
I am trying to figure out where I am for a bit there.
Right.
Then I realise where I am. And I look at the birds, if there are birds anywhere.
Yeah, there's a couple of birds sitting around the courtyard on the apple tree and on the roof.
And I go in search of food.
Right. Well, okay. You leave the room, you go outside?
Yes.
Okay. So you head off down the hallway, and you see this young elf scurrying up the hallway. He stops. Excuse me, sir. Can I help you, sir?
I'm looking for food.
Of course you are, sir. Of course you are. And this elf looks up at your hulking half-orc presence. Yes, sir, looking for food. Is there any particular sort of food that I can help you with, sir? I would really like to assist you in any way possible.
I would like
Yes, sir?
bacon,
Bacon.
eggs. That'll do. Bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs. This human food. Is that what you're looking for? Human food? That would...
Yes.
Very good, sir. I'll see what I can do. And he runs off. Leith, you wake up.
I'm already awake.
You're already awake. Excellent.
Has it been raining all night?
Go back in and shut the door.
It has been raining because there was a large storm the night before, and I recall you found a sword inside a tree whilst you guys briefly got zapped by lightning, I believe. Fortunately, you all survived the rather mystical experience.
Leith is just genuinely hanging out in the corner of the room, just keeping an eye on everybody and making sure everybody is safe and sound and sleeping okay.
Okay. Very good. Gudael, what are you doing?
So Gudael would have woken up in her bed, I suppose, after her fit.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's gotten up and she's been trancing, and she's been trying to focus her trances on Milford memories. She knows that she has to work through the grief a bit.
Right.
And she's got her paints out. So she's, done her trancing, and she's decided to do a little bit of painting, and she opens up her paint case and realizes that she's got these paints from Millmore Glass that she's not tried before. So
Right.
she's remembering Milford in the tree that last day. And so she goes to paint an apple blossom, and it doesn't stay an apple blossom on the page, of course. It sort of becomes an apple blossom for real.
Right, because these particular pigments are magical and they become whatever it is that you paint.
Yes. So she's looking at this and she thinks that's truly miraculous. And so she
Right.
paints a little, basically like a bobby pin, and makes it into a hair accessory and tucks it into her
Wow.
hair.
Okay. I'm going to get you to make a performance check.
Okay.
It's a kind of performance art, I feel.
Fair enough.
D&D doesn't have a specific stat for this, so performance is the best I can think.
Right.
Performance check 16, very good. Okay, yeah, that seems to work out pretty well. It works out very well for you. Okay, Edryn.
I wake up. I sit on my bed. I kind of get up half out of bed, half sitting up. I sit like that for a good 10-15 minutes, and then I get up, get dressed. I go out, and I start inquiring about food.
Right. Well, as you're about to go out, Orikaw is on his way back in again, so you bump into each other in the hallway. Up until now, Orikaw, you probably found yourself a bowl of fruit so far.
Would you like some fruit?
Actually, yes, please. That'd be quite nice. Do we know if breakfast is on its way? Like a proper, not insulting the fruit, but...
Oh, sorry. I just ordered some for myself.
Oh, that's fine. I'm sure I can go after someone or something.
You see a group of about 3 young elves cornering the end of the hallway with a trolley. And they're kind of discussing things amongst themselves and trying to get the trolley around the corner and straightening up the tablecloth on top of it. And one of them's checking for cutlery and things, and they're trying to get this whole thing ready right now. And they look up and see you, and they kind of look guiltily like, oh, we've been spotted kind of thing.
A wave.
Just a couple of minutes, sirs. We will have your food very briefly, if you don't mind.
It's fine.
You can
Take
wait
your
inside.
time. Take your time. Don't worry.
Very well. All right, so you do that. Meanwhile, Adric, what are you up to?
Adric has been up for a little while, and he's got, he's got the broken crown that he picked up from inside the Milford's tomb.
Right.
And where the ruby once sat, he's taken a bit of coal from inside the fire and he's marked out. He's planned a rune that really isn't in the giant lexicon because they don't really have a word for this. But he's spent a lot of time writing on walls and trying to figure it out. And he's come up with the rune for Bastard Prince. And he's going to, once he's satisfied with his mock giant rune, he's going to carve that into the empty ruby hole.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so would you like to make a performance check?
Would it perhaps be, I don't know, blacksmithing something check? I don't know.
Do you have a craft check? Any sort of crafting check that you can make?
Yes. I'm proficient with calligrapher's supplies, mason's tools, and smith's tools.
Ooh.
So I roll, I don't know.
Ooh, it's kind of like calligraphy, isn't it? You're sort of drawing a thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like masonry because you're scratching a thing.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like, blacksmithing because it's made of metal.
Right. Well, you
So I
can
get triple proficiency bonus,
triple.
right?
Yeah, that's a cool story, bro. So you can choose one of those and go with it because I don't really mind which one it's going to be.
I will roll proficiency. Let's see if my mock rune is Gucci. That's
The philosophy here is to roll a dice and not to worry too
Yes.
much about.
well, I worry greatly.
People do. People do.
That's
they
a
worry
13.
A lot. A 13. The dice will always speak for themselves. Yeah, okay. Yep, you do a pretty good job of it. Yeah, nice.
That'll do for now.
All right, so
Tucks it away.
the atmosphere in the room now as these three elves come in and they start setting up this lavish breakfast for you all. And you notice that these three... in fact, can you all make perception checks, please?
All of us.
All of you. Any of you that are in the rooms and are observing the breakfast being served, those of you that are doing that can make checks.
18.
18. Very good, Mr. Leith Mistralath.
9. I'm too absorbed in my crown.
You're doing your crown business.
Got a 15.
Gudael's pretty wrapped up in her crafting too.
Right. Okay. Orikaw, am I rolling for you for this?
Yes, you are, because I can't.
Very good. Okay, perception. Here it goes. Oh, that is a large 19. So, 19. Okay, so Orikaw and who was it that rolled the 18 was Mistralath, wasn't it?
Yep.
Leith. These three individuals seem oddly incompetent at what they're doing. They're sort of vaguely out of place.
Like the
Like, well, for a start, all three of them are males. And you are at the Daughters of Twilight, complex in... I mean, not to say they don't have, male servants and other, male comrades within the doors and halls of the Daughters of Twilight's various temples.
Are they wearing like servants kind of clothes?
They are. They're wearing servants' clothes. They're wearing servants' clothes with the embroidered symbol of the Daughters of Twilight on their shoulders and on their sashes and what have you.
Do they look like they're wearing servants' clothes, but may have punched out some servants to get said clothes?
Well, you notice that one of them is not wearing their embroidered sash correctly. As for punching anybody out, they don't look like the type that could punch too many people out because they're skinny little elves, They could have punched someone out. Maybe they're ninjas, but...
Right. I'll just say...
they're not brutish looking. Yep.
Excuse me, but...
yes, sir?
Who sent this breakfast?
I believe your friend here, Mr. Forgive me, I don't know your name, sir. Asked for breakfasts, and we quickly brought what we could find.
Oh, and who are you?
My name is.
I haven't seen you before.
My name is Gelrond. Yes, Gelrond. Ariasis, Gelrond Ariasis. It's not important, sir. I just here's your breakfast. Is this suitable for you?
I'm
Do you need...
I'm just not sure about your vestments. You're looking a little bit. Could you tidy yourself up, please?
It's all right, sir. He's new around here. Please forgive him. I am Daenrin Talandaran.
Daenrin, yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to move to.
Have I ever seen a Daenrin Talandaran at any stage?
You have not.
Is he a family member that I would know?
You've never met him either, Gudael, and you're a Talandaran.
I'm going to turn to Orikaw and just whisper, I'm a little suspicious of these three. They seem a little stoogey.
Orikaw picks up Darren.
No, sir, no, I swear. Why do we, no, my lord, please put me down. Please put me down.
No offense. My friend meant no offense, but would you mind eating
The
just
food?
sampling a little of the food, please?
Oh, of course. Please put me down, sir, please.
He looks at you. Orikaw looks at you. Do you want me should put him down?
Yes, please, Orikaw. Please put down this
Put him
young
down.
Talandaran.
You're afraid that you think that we would poison your food, sir? That's preposterous.
Well, we excuse our slight paranoia, but some are not to be trusted around this place. So, yes, would you mind just sampling the food yourself in front of us?
Yes, of course, my lord, of course. And can you make a insight check, please, Steve?
5.
Okay, well, he seems fine with the whole process. And he very deliberately cuts off a piece of food and eats it. Would anyone else like to make an insight check?
Me.
All right, Orikaw, we'll make an insight check for you. Insight. Insight as in to incite.
Inside violence.
Yes, to incite. A 5. A massive 5. The same as Leith. So you both have the same reaction. Okay. All right.
Seems legitimate, yes.
He nibbles a piece of the food. It's quite good, sir.
Can Gudael roll an insight as well?
She can make an insight check, yes.
We have woken up on the suspicious side of the bed today.
Wow.
19.
Gudael, you notice that he's eating a particular part of this elven meal, this whey bread to the side, and he's slicing off the edge of the crust in particular and nibbling on a tiny piece from there. And he is eating it, but he's being very, very careful about what he's eating.
Please allow me to help you with that. And she grabs up some utensils and cuts something from the middle and spoon feeds him.
No, please, madam. Of course, I didn't want to ruin the food for his lordships.
Oh, not at all. We're not that proud. It's fine.
I can do it. And so he goes about cutting off a new piece of food.
I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts on the guy.
Okay, Detect Thoughts. Does he get a saving throw?
Probably.
To just read his mind, you like to surface thoughts, nothing.
Surface
but for
thoughts, yeah.
inside, just make a save.
Okay, so surface thoughts, no saving throw for that.
No.
Okay. And is it obvious that you're casting the spell?
I sort of do a wave of the hand, but I try and keep it as casual as possible.
So is there a verbal component?
I don't think so. Yes, there is. I'll just say, really?
Yes, sir. And he oh, damn! Drop that piece. I'm feeling a bit ill. I'm going to have to run. And he dashes out of the room. And the other two look at each other.
I grab him because I've been watching him.
Okay.
I was ready for it.
All right.
Grab him.
You grab him as he goes for the door. All right, and he's not moving. He kind of goes limp in your arms.
I lift him up and I say in my most intimidating voice,
Okay.
"Me no like you."
So should we make an intimidation check for Orikaw?
Yep.
Okay. So you get +4 for intimidation. So here we go. That's a natural 12. So that's a 16. You smell urine.
Okay.
Possibly not just urine.
Okay. Now, you tell me who you are and who sent you.
You.
Is that clear? Me hungry.
Okay, so you're
fast.
gonna make an insight check now, Orikaw.
Okay.
And it's I have to show the audience this one. You see that? That's a big fat natural one.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So I want to apologize to the audience. If you notice me moving things around on the screen, that's because I had a hard drive failure this week and I've had to rebuild my whole stream from scratch, which is a bit sucky. So please forgive any little technical nonsense. It's obviously not acceptable, but we have to live with it right now. So apologies. Natural one for your insight check, Barry. He's you don't know why. He's clearly being obnoxious. He's being obstinate. He's refusing to tell you the answer. He's not giving you the information that you want, and it's beginning to incite you. Speaking of insight.
You make me annoyed. You want me to be annoyed.
Okay, one of the others tries to bolt past you, Orikaw, through the door. You're going to try and stop them?
Yep.
Okay, now you're going to be at disadvantage because you're already holding one of them. Okay, so there's going to be an athletics check at disadvantage, but you do get +8 if you're athletics. Oh my god.
Can I use hold monster against?
You can tell me what the components are.
Components VSM and the.
So verbal, somatic, and material.
Material.
Right. So we're waving the old hands, talking,
Yep.
and material components.
I'll basically just tell him to stop.
So that's a command, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
And
He looks
point
at
my
you and
finger.
stops. I think that when you cast the spell, it's kind of obvious that you're casting a spell. This is the point of
But
certain...
he's running. But he's running away.
He's running
so-
away. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And he gets a wisdom saving throw.
It's a wisdom saving throw. Okay. What's the DC on the wisdom saving throw?
14.
Okay, he stops. Oh! Ah! The third one just starts backing into the corner, all by himself.
And I'll just keep pointing at him, and I'll move up to him and be like, "Who sent you?" Man.
I can't say, my lord. My tongue will not speak the words.
Your tongue has been stopped by magical means.
I can only presume such, sir.
Is it someone of the Talandaran family?
Not of the Talandaran, sir. No, never.
Who might it be?
I couldn't say, sir. I cannot speak the words.
I'll turn to Dala and say, "Who do you think this could be?"
Please let us go, sir. Please. They'll beat us if they know.
You were trying to poison us.
You should run. You should run away.
Possibly want us dead here. It wasn't an Arathani, was it?
I couldn't say, madam. I could not say.
Hit table twice for name. You're not saying.
Tis beyond me, sir. Tis beyond me. I have not that power. I cannot communicate these meanings. Do you understand?
Be gone! You are a disgrace to these clothes.
Yes, my lord. I am a disgrace. Oh.
And I'll let him go
Forgive
from
us.
the whole
Forgive us.
monster.
Please forgive us.
You want I
runs
should
off.
put him down, Mr. Leith?
Yes.
Thank
Put
you,
him
sir.
down.
Thank you, sir. Blessings upon you. Blessings of the Seldering. Thank you for your forgiveness and your mercy. And he runs.
Go away. Go
He
away.
runs.
And Leith kind of loses the haughty bit when they're gone and goes, what's going on?
Edric peeks out of his room. What's happening?
Do this.
We're
What's all
not
that
getting
ruckus?
breakfast, is what's happening.
Yeah.
Why didn't
Tried
you
to
eat one of
poison
them?
us.
Yeah, what about breakfast?
We'll
Well,
get something else.
we're not eating any of this. I say we go to the kitchen, wherever that is, and find
you ask-
something.
Did you manage to find out who done it?
No.
No, they couldn't say.
Could
Alright,
not
so
find out.
were they able to say who it wasn't?
Oh.
Hmm.
We needed you
Well-
to be up, apparently.
I was busy! And he waves the crown.
I had my hands full.
Oh, that's alright, Orikaw. You're fine.
Hmm.
Well, fancy a
Well,
hand.
I'm sure we'll find out eventually.
I got to brush my tux. Hang on.
I think I'd rather have something to eat right now.
Yes, fair. Isn't today another day of the festival?
'Tis the third day.
Well, then we could. Thank you, ominous voice in the sky.
'Tis the third day of the Festival of the Wheel.
It's just some herald outside.
to the third day of the Festival of the Wheel.
Yes.
Weirdly poignant timing, herald on the street with a trumpet. As well, surely we could just go and grab something from the communal pile of food on our way to see Azariah. We can
Yes.
poison everything.
That's my point. Yes.
Also, keep in mind, there's that stag that we killed.
Oh, wouldn't that be a little heavy this time of morning?
No.
That may have been eaten at the evening meal last night when we were running around in the woods.
that was
Lady
ours.
Gudael,
Yes, Orikaw.
can I talk to you?
Absolutely.
While I'm cleaning my tusk.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Barry. Could you tell us what a tusk cleaning tool looks like? I just need to know this medieval tusk tool.
Well, you've heard of a toothbrush?
I'm familiar with the concept of the toothbrush, but it's weird when it hangs out the jaw like this.
Yes, it's hard
Probably
to-
like a file or something.
Gudael's going to be watching this with
My
rapt,
curiosity is sated.
somewhat
Anyone.
horrified attention.
Might
It's
be,
like, as like tusk like grains fall to the ground. Sorry.
Michael
might be
Bates.
good if you know, when we see your father, he not really crazy about me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm not his favorite servant. Though I strive to be, I'm not his favorite. So maybe we just don't mention me around him.
but I thought that Father sent you.
Yeah, but he did not like the idea of sending me.
Oh, I see.
Did
Go
not like
figure
the
that he
idea.
would send me someone who he wasn't fond of. That figures. Okay, yes, as you wish. We will try to keep you out of sight.
Yeah, yeah. I like it that way because he give me funny look.
It's
He give
very
me funny,
interesting.
funny looks.
That was one of the questions I wanted to ask you, was what you thought of Elandor Talandaran.
Your father?
Yes.
What me think of him? Maybe I should not tell you.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, that tells me plenty. Thank you.
So we good, right?
I I suppose so.
Good.
Yes.
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 Edric,
Aye.
could I have a look at that crown very quickly?
Aye, well, of course. Just don't judge my handiwork too terribly. It's a new rune.
No, don't worry. It's more the hands that made it before. Russell,
Yep.
does this crown bear any resemblance to the evil crown we found?
The crown of ire?
Yeah, does it resemble that at all?
Oh, no. Yes, superficially.
Superficially? Okay. Very good.
You
Are
can-
there any weird runes on it?
No. You make an arcana check.
Lady
Good.
Talandaran, me think that you should take cloak too this time.
Wow.
Oak.
21.
Raining.
Oh.
Cloak.
Yes. I was meaning to purchase one. Perhaps that we can do that on our way.
Edryn, you notice that there is something about this crown. It's not so much that it has runes on it. It's just seems to emanate a kind of dark magic. It makes you slightly uncomfortable, and it seems to be cold, always cold.
Edric, this crown. Where exactly did you find it?
We picked it up in the tomb that we lost Brixton in.
Edryn.
It was worn by Leith, and we slew it.
Everything within about a foot of it seems to just leach its color.
Well, it was on the head of a lich, and it had this here ruby embedded in it.
I'd just
Right.
like to note that when he says it was on the head of a lich, those are Adric's words, not mine.
Oh,
He did say Wraith before, so
I did say Wraith. Sorry.
Edryn's kind of putting together that he's okay, some sort of undead thing.
Why, we ghosty piece of shite.
Right. Well, look. I think maybe we should try not to deal with that thing too much, and if you wouldn't mind, I think I'd like to keep that ruby away from it.
That's reasonable. I wasn't going
Possibly
to.
a good idea. Yes.
I wasn't going to embed it. No.
Ding 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 ding. At the door.
Me go answer door. You keep
I'll-
talking.
I'll look after the ruby.
Okay.
You look
Thank you,
after the
Orikaw.
crown.
Good idea. No, I quite liked its empty look better actually. Personally,
Right. Yes. And also, just try not to wear it.
At the door,
wasn't for me.
you find 3 humans. These humans bear with them a large tray of food between them. They are also wearing the symbols of the Daughters of Twilight, but they are clearly Leith, you will know because you worked for the Daughters of Twilight as a servant at one point. They're wearing the correct colours, the correct uniform, the correct sashes with the correct emblems in the correct way. And they bring this food in and lay it out for you. Everything looks much more kosher, oddly enough.
I thought you said you already got food.
Who? Me?
Well, you Orikaw.
We did get food. You are quite correct. But
I'm of more of a tendency to trust these gentlemen than the previous.
I'm with him. Excellent. Right. Good.
They lay it all out. It looks beautiful. Great food. Well cooked. Well made. Smells good.
Edric starts eating. No ceremony, just fucking digs in, man.
Alright, Adrix just digs in. Okay, alright. Everyone makes perception checks.
Hell yeah.
Orika's just waiting for Edryn to go.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You notice there's a raven sitting in the tree.
Dirty 22.
You also notice the raven sitting in the tree.
Hello there. Would you like
Looks
some
at-
bacon?
It turns its head at you and makes a...
No, you don't want any bacon then.
Hang
You're
on.
welcome to it.
Hang on. Yeah, it looks at you like it could give it or it could take it.
Can I roll an animal handling check to try and like show it like I don't mean any harm? I don't want to convince it down.
You can make an animal handling check. You can.
Fuck yeah. As they say in Japan. 11.
Yeah, your animal handling is okay, but the raven apparently is not that interested.
Alright, more for me.
It's a bit-
Those ravens only like apple blossoms, I think.
Well, I'm sure I can train one to eat bacon.
They're
Yes,
quite
you watch.
aloof. Ravens, these ones.
Thank you, Herald on the outside. Brixton was also aloof until we trained him better.
I see.
Who is this Brixton that you keep talking about?
He was a friend. Best not to speak of the dead too much. Hey, Orikaw.
Oh, that's right. He's your dead friend. I remember.
Ah, yes. It's very good phrasing it thusly.
I hope you don't have too many dead friends.
More dead than living, to be fair.
Right. There's
That
another knock on the
doesn't-
door.
Oh, I'll go and answer the door.
No,
shall I?
Orikaw, I'll get it. You have something to eat.
I'll
I've got
go-
it.
I'll go
No,
and answer
it's
the-
just awkward, like polite dance. Oh no, let me. I've got you. You go sit down. Edryn
Pick
gets it
him
over.
up, step him to one side.
You pick him up and just push him, lift him over.
I hate this.
Yep, lift
I
him
hate
back
it.
over and walk to the door.
An odd sort of servant, isn't he? He just sort of does what he wants.
Well,
Yeah, he's not very well trained.
he's
Open
too
the
well
door.
trained.
You get to the door. Is that you, right, Orikaw, going to the door?
Yeah.
Okay, you open the door, and Isla Talandaran, Gudael's brother, stands there.
Oh, Isla, come on in.
Good morning, all. He comes in.
Orikaw, I'm assuming you are familiar with Isla.
We've met once or twice. I believe we spoke briefly upon the last evening. Did we not?
Yes, my lord, and I'm not here, my lord.
You appear to be here. I see you. I'm sure I could touch you.
Well, why would it matter if Isla knew you were here, Orikaw?
That's a good question, Gudael. Why would it matter, Orikaw?
My lord, I just don't want too many people to know I'm here.
Is
My
there a
lord.
reason for that?
There is, my lord, but you don't want to know what it is.
Oh, au contraire, Orikaw. I'm very curious now. You've piqued my interest.
I was hoping it wouldn't. Wouldn't you like to go and play chess, my lord?
Do not forget your place, Orikaw.
Yes, my lord. Sorry, my lord. Because he rubs his tusk even harder.
So he's
Um,
kind of rubbing his...
yeah.
Yes.
Because I was not hired by your father.
Not hired by our father. Isla turns to you, Gudael. And who then was he hired by, Gudael?
My understanding was that father sent him to mind me.
Could we
Do you
really
need a
not?
minder, do you, Gudael?
I didn't think so. I was rather offended by it at first, but
It does seem a bit odd that father would send this one.
especially since Orikaw says he's not overly fond of him. father's not overly fond of Orikaw, apparently.
Why is that?
Why is that, Orikaw?
I'm an orc, milady.
Merely a half-orc? Surely that should not count against you?
Well,
I suppose in this family it does.
well, I'm servant. I shouldn't speak out of turn, my lord.
That is a good point, Gudael. He shouldn't speak out of turn. How is everyone?
Fine. Yes.
Well,
Good.
thank you.
Very good, very good. I saw some young men fleeing from the temple. What was that about?
Did you recognize them at all?
I did not recognize them. They were just servants, if I could tell.
One of them said he was a Talandaran, and they tried to give us some unsavory breakfast.
Unsavory breakfast. So they didn't cook your eggs the way you wanted them, Orikaw?
No, we believe it was
I
poisoned.
don't often like my eggs with poison.
Poison? These are high accusations. Always drama, isn't there?
It would
Yes.
appear it's a common thing for this lot, my lord.
I see. Well, I did mention, did I not, that I was hoping to get you an audience with my mentor,
Oh, yes.
Azariah. Well, he is available today in approximately 1 hour. Do you think you'll be able to make it?
Absolutely. We can do that, can't we?
No, I've got a pedicure appointment. I'm terribly sorry. Of course I can make it.
You're an odd dwarf.
More than you know.
I'm sure that's true.
Should I go with them, my lord?
Is there a reason you should not?
Well,
We did not cover in fact, who it is that your employer is, if it is not father.
we didn't, my lord. Do we need to, my lord?
Possibly we do.
Possibly we do.
Someone is employing you to be here, is that correct?
Yes, my lord.
And is it a member of my family?
Yes, my lord.
I see. And
Have you been sworn to secrecy, Orikaw?
Yes, my lady.
I do love a good secret. Can you tell us?
Can
No,
you?
my lady, then it wouldn't be a secret, would it?
It's
Go
not,
no further than this room.
it's not a
It's
magical
good
secret,
point.
is it?
No, it's not
that-
a magical secret.
Well, then what's the harm?
Well, in any case, I'll be off if there's anything you need me for.
Go,
Where are we going to meet with this fellow?
I'll leave my boy Hamil here so that he can take you to Azariah's tower.
I will go and clean my tusk.
Unsightly things, aren't they?
Oh, I find them quite endearing.
I see. Well, in any case, yes, good luck with Azariah. I hope he gives you information that you need and want. Do you need me to come, Gudael?
I don't think so. If you've got other things to do, it'd be lovely to have you. But you trust this Azariah?
He's my mentor. I trust him with my life.
Would you like to come?
Well, I can be there if you like. Yes, very well.
Okay.
1 hour.
1 hour.
And Hamil will take you to the place. Won't you, Hamil? Yes, my lord.
Excellent.
So Azariah, it's not Azariah, Isla leaves, leaving you with Hamil. What are you guys going to do now?
If I might, while Ulrich is still doing whatever he's doing with his task, are we just going to leave his employment behind? Are we just going to leave that up in the air?
We'll keep working on it.
It's not worth bringing up just yet. He's already dug his heels in. But if we keep picking away at it, just maybe he'll slip. Yes,
right. I'm just aware of certain throats being cut in the night, and I'm not exactly... I'm not saying that his employer is necessarily, malevolent, but I'm also not thinking they're particularly benevolent if he's holding out on us.
If he had orders to kill us, he had last night, he had the encounter with the Bodak, he's had his opportunities.
Well, he's had 4 on 1, which isn't a very good odds.
He had the Bodak with him.
We had the Bodak against him as well.
An opportunity is an opportunity, my friend. And once we're asleep, there's not much of our resistance. If he'll slip, he'll slip. But against your better judgment, I'm inclined to trust him until he does something.
Right. There's a long silence. The rain stops. A little beam of sunlight begins to fill the courtyard. Steam begins to rise up off the cobblestones around the edge of the circle around the tree, as the warm rays of the primary sun, Solum Pingal, begins to warm the cobblestones. There you go. That was my little scene.
Ethan, did you want to go by the library? Because we've got a spare hour. We may as well at least find some books that are useful in the meantime.
I think an hour would be shallow research in terms of what I'm thinking. Maybe after we meet with him. I might actually ask to trade items. Since you're the stonesmith and the mason of sorts, I think it'd be better if you had the ruby and I had the spooky jagged thing.
Sure. I still have a bit of work I'd like to do on it before I'm happy with its construction, but you can hold on to it for now.
Oh yes, if you need to work on it, I'll sit in the corner and read a book or something. But yes, I just want to keep my eye on it.
Nope, that's fine.
Well,
that's
why does that crown disturb you so much, Edryn?
It's it gives me a bad feeling.
Oh.
I think anything to do with an undead makes me a little bit skeptical, especially after Hamir.
Yes. That is understandable.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Weeks, in fact.
Why would you... Nah, not worth bringing up. Actually, can I roll an insight check to see why that was so fresh in his mind?
You can make an insight check.
Oof. Come on, Frostrune, don't fail me now. It failed me now. Is there perhaps any indication on his demeanor that would show he's it's a fresher fear?
What did you roll?
I rolled 12.
12. You did indeed, with advantage too.
I know, my rolls blow tonight.
How did you get advantage on an insight check?
Because I have a particular runic feature. Let me read the thing for you.
Of course you do.
Rune carver. Thank you, Frost Rune.
I see.
Let me roll.
Are you making a deception check as a kind of a contested check there, Edryn?
Yeah. Yes. There we go. It was a total of 2.
Right. With a natural 1.
With a natural 1. So, yes. It's very obvious it wasn't just like Mia. It was like, yes, suspicious, like Mia.
And
That's
As if it happened yesterday.
Gudael collapses to the floor.
I'll pick her up.
Edryn, that was oddly specific. Are you alright? Was something on
Yes,
your
I mean-
mind?
No, just
Because
he
the
came back to life and attacked us, and this is an undead. And there's a link somewhere, I'm sure.
Put a blanket over her and
Alright.
just keep her on my lap.
I'll keep that in mind. But this is like in a Telltale game. Adric will remember this.
Okay, so what are you guys going to do?
We're gonna wait for Gudael to return from her turn,
Okay.
and then I suppose I'm just going to downtime until pardon me, until we need to go.
All right.
Prepare some spells, actually.
All right. Leith, what are you going to do while they're waiting for Gudael to come around?
I guess we have to wait with her, don't we? We don't really want to go anywhere without her.
How long does she keep like this?
It can be some time, really. It really just depends. Maybe we should bundle her up and get on our way, or
Me already got her in blanket. I've
Oh.
already got her in a blanket here.
Can I get
Oh.
you guys to make perception checks, please?
Yes, please, Russell.
Yes, please, Russell. All right.
19.
yes,
Wow.
please, Russell.
All right.
22.
Bloody
Oh,
hell.
14.
14. And a huge gentleman's 8 for Barry. So everyone except Barry will hear the marching of feet coming down the hallway outside.
I'm sure it's fine.
The feet stop outside the door.
That's not fine.
Gudael, you can wake up from your turn whenever you wish, but you might hear the ringing of the bell at the door.
Adric goes and gets it.
Outside the
take-
door, Adric, you are confronted by 6 black guards and Gudael's father, the supreme commander of the Black Guard, Arvandor Talandaran.
Good morning, gentlemen. Can I help you?
He steps in past you,
All right, then. As you will.
unless you hold him off.
No, I've no reason to do that.
Okay. He turns around and he says, "What's happened to my daughter? Why is she in your lap, Orikaw?" Arvandor Talandaran is standing before you with 6 black guards in your quarters. Tell me you do not sense the gravity of the situation.
Hello, Father. I just,
What are you doing?
to what do I owe the pleasure of your visit?
I wish to speak to you. I have not had the chance. There's urgent matters at hand that you need to be involved in.
Oh, okay.
We've found a suitor for you, Gudael.
What?
A young man of a high family. He's the sort that probably be the best suitor you're going to find in the next century or so, and after that it will be much, much harder for you. He's the son of Draeli Galt Ariasus, one of the prefects of the Black Guard. So he'd be a very suitable individual indeed. His family is strong, they have money. He seems to just ignore everybody else in the room. You guys are just not even there as far as this guy's concerned. So we're setting a wedding date, if you don't mind, Gudael.
But yes, I mind. This is not part of the plan.
You haven't even met the young lad. How could you mind? His name is Londrel Varus Ariasus, one of the...
Yes, I haven't even met the young man. How can we be setting a wedding date already?
Well, we have plans for you to meet him as soon as possible. He is in fact staying with us at our household presently. He will be there tonight, if you so desire. If you will take time from your busy study, and he looks at Orikaw. If you'll take time from your busy clerical studies to come and spend time with your family and meet your suitor, then perhaps things will go a little better for everyone.
Gudael, it might be nice to meet the young man. I mean, he might be a key to a whole lot of joy in your life.
Gudael's looking at Adric like, whose side are you
Everybody's
on?
looking at Adric now.
And Adric's remembering the information we had from Isla yesterday about the keys, and he's like, raising his eyebrows. You know, he might light a fire in you. The wind beneath your wings, so to speak.
Well, perhaps I'd like to
Orlando
drop
turns
some water on this
to
fire?
Adric. What are you talking about?
It's just some dwarven witticisms. There's so little to celebrate beneath ground, and, well, a good wedding might be what we need.
I have it on good account that you two were seen sneaking about the palace night before last. Is this true, Gudael?
Yes, I made a mistake, Father.
Oh, just one.
One that counts. I had a childhood fantasy of exploring around the waterfall. And,
Speak, girl.
I never believed you. You and Mother used to say it was quite dangerous there, and I didn't believe you, and I...
Dangerous, Gudael. You're forbidden from going there. Everyone is forbidden from going there. Do not look at me like some impetuous child. There is a reason everyone is forbidden.
Yes, I know that now.
Where is your retainer, your friend, the simple one you brought to the dinner the other night? He was with you, I'm aware of that, and he did not return with you.
As it so happens, sir, your advice was true. Your child's advice that the area is dangerous is in fact true.
It's not dangerous, Mr. What is your name?
Fogdar.
Yes, Fogdar. Not
Yes,
dangerous. Absolutely forbidden.
Well, forbidden for a reason. He felt his doom.
And so, where did you go, Gudael?
We followed a path around the waterfall.
Yes.
Erdan will not be coming back.
You lost him.
He falls, she tell me. He falls.
What are you doing here, Orikaw?
Me deliver some for Lady Talandaran. Me deliver stuff for Lady Talandaran.
I see. Can you make a persuasion check, Mr. Orikaw? I'll roll the dice for you. Orikaw, persuasion check coming up. Here we go. And that's a big fat 19! Oh, you are a lucky bastard today. He's going to make an insight check. You are a lucky bastard. That's all I can say. He dismisses you offhand sadly, based on your racial profile.
I have never been so happy to be a Half-Orc in my life.
Right. You have not yet answered my question clearly, Gudael. Where did you go?
Well, there were
Yes.
a few paths to follow.
A few paths to follow. Which paths were these? There was one path leading along the waterfall. Where did it go?
It went behind the waterfall, and we didn't go much further than that.
You went behind the waterfall. So few paths. Can you make a persuasion check, Gudael?
15.
A 15? That's not a bad roll. 15 is not a bad roll, but we'll see what his insight has to say about that. A natural 2, so apparently not excellent. He went behind the waterfall. He seems visibly relieved. I see.
It was as beautiful as I had always imagined, but...
And your retainer fell then, I assume?
Yes. We tried our best to...
Did you tell
retrieve it.
anyone? Right now, that simpleton could be infesting the waters of some home in Hymath Tirith. He could be winding up in someone's toiletries, some bathroom, any number of places. Someone's reservoir. Some corrupted corpse. You would want that upon someone? Why didn't you tell someone? You were ashamed, obviously. You were ashamed, of course. Why would you tell someone? Gudael, you disappoint me, Gudael. You've disappointed me again. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Just disappointment? You'll meet this young man tonight, I tell you, by hook or by crook, and you will marry him. Yes? Very well. He turns on his heel. I expect to see you there for dinner. He leaves, and his men leave with him, and they shut the door. Boom.
Piece of work. But this could work in our favor. Isn't he one of the ones that may or may not have a key, per chance?
Father?
No, not yet. Well, potentially. But no, this young man, what's his name you're about to meet?
Did you recognize his name?
It seemed vaguely familiar. There were a few names Isla gave us.
True. Oh, I was so overcome by...
That's what I was trying to signal, but it was clearly too oblique.
So, can you guys make wisdom perception checks, I guess, is the closest I can think of.
Motherfucker whispering, listening at the door.
No, actually, not for that. This is
Huzzah!
to see what you recall about the conversation.
22.
22. Okay, Gudael. Now that you're out of the scene and your father's left the room and your head's just a little bit clearer, you begin to realize Londrel Varus Ariasis is the son of Drayli Gelt Ariasis, who is one of the prefects. In fact, he said that during the conversation. He's a prefect of the Black Guard. So he's the son of a prefect of the Black Guard. This particular prefect runs a whole division of the Black Guard. You don't know anything more than that. You've heard his name come up at dinner.
Right. I have heard his name before. Londrel, what was his middle name?
Varus.
Varus.
Yeah. Londrel Varus.
Londrel Varus.
Ariasis.
His father's a prefect. He's in charge of some division or other.
But what are the odds are he may or may not have a key?
As long as I don't actually end up married to him, it's not part of my plans.
Oh, perish the thought. I'd sooner throw him over the waterfall. Time's a ticking, and we've got a mentor to meet.
All right, so a little bit later, an hour later, roundabouts, you guys are converging at one of the towers in the Arcane District. It's a small tower between one of the libraries that you've previously tried to frequent, tried to being the operative term, and a kind of an ancient place of a place where they practiced magical battle, kind of like an arena nearby, but it's no longer used for that sort of thing. Is forbidden at present under the current reign. Okay, so you get to Azariah's house, essentially, for that is what it ultimately is. And the servant opens the door and lets you in, and you you're offered tea and bickies, and finally, after a while, Ayla arrives. I see you've made it here. Good timing. I do look forward to introducing you to Azariah. He should be here shortly. He's usually a little late.
Yes, it's a bit of a day of introductions today, isn't it?
Are you well, Gudael? You seem a little shaken.
Are you coming to dinner at Mother and Father's house tonight?
I did hear there was some sort of do. Yes. What is going on? Something. I've been told to make sure that you arrive safely and that you come.
Are you familiar with one Landrel Varus Ariasus?
Londrel?
Londrel, yes.
Son of Dreli Gelt Ariasus, prefect, Blackguard.
I believe so.
Is he going to be there?
Apparently he's looking for a wife.
Oh, dear. I see. Are they trying to finally marry you off, sister?
Finally? I'm only 143 years old. There's still time. It's not something that I'm terribly in a rush for.
I suppose, yes. I understand.
You're not married.
Well, that's true. I'm not married, and I do avoid this like the plague, to be fair. And I do not blame you for your reticence in this matter. But how are we going to get you out of this?
I don't know, but I didn't make things any easier by admitting to Father that I'd taken Adric and Erdan for a hike, and only Adric and I returned.
In your defense, he already knew.
True, I thought that somewhat a truthful-ish sort of story would be the best course of action.
So wait a minute, what happened?
Your old man came by our lodgings with a retinue of blackguard, gave Gudael some shite news, to be frank, and then said, "Wait, we found you wandering around the palace." So we thought up a convincing lie as to why our friend Erdan was no longer with us.
What did you tell him?
Mythal.
I suppose, but they're not going to find a body, are they? Imagine
I'm
they'll
sure
be trawling for one now.
I'm sure there's something living inside the waters, potentially.
I suppose. Very good. Well,
Can't you magical type summon beasties and just let one loose to prove a point?
let one loose to prove a point. What are you talking about?
Yeah, or something. A shark in the waters to eat poor Erdan's body.
A shark in the water. I suppose there could be some sort of situation like that, yes. I'm probably not a shark, Mr. Fogdar, but yes.
I'm underground. I don't know anything about your waterlogged cities.
I see.
Your fauna and flora.
You certainly do not. I hear Azariah coming. And at that point, the door opens, and this you've never seen an elf that actually looks that old before. But this elf seems to be actually venerable. Maith has a kind of an elderly presence, but it's different. He's still quite functional and very present and clearly full of power. This fellow, however, is a little bit more leaning on his staff as he comes in. You can tell he's in pain.
So most people in the room will be wanting to jump up and help him, but not wanting to offend him, and so kind of not knowing what to do.
He looks up at you all. Greetings, sailor. These are your friends that you said you were bringing, I take it. Yes, my lord. Of course, master. Perhaps you would like to speak with them now. Yes, of course. If you'll just open the door. He starts walking towards the door, and Aylar opens the door and they take you through to this laboratory, which in fact has an astrolabe in it. It's the closest thing you're going to get in Azariah to clockwork. It's a... You know what an astrolabe is?
I can Google it.
Planets and things buzzing around each other on metal windy things. Except in this case, it's the flat plane of Azariah with a couple of continents and the broken moons and what have you, all kind of wired up there. It's a lot less mechanical and a lot more magical, to be fair. And it's quite big, about 10 feet across. And in the ceiling, there is a huge crystal, the size of which is quite phenomenal, about 5 feet across. This massive crystal that seems to magnify the sky. Please do come inside. Now, and the room is filled with this air of magic. So you have questions? Ayla says, so I should introduce you to Azariah. He is one of the chroniclers of Azariah. He's written and been mentioned in the various books, historical and magical texts and treatises. He does a lot of research. Between you and me, our Lord Azariah here is kept about because he's one of the few members of the High Council that knows where to find the books that people are looking for. Yes, that's true, says Azariah.
So everyone here's on the level, right?
They look at each other. Yes.
Alright, just checking.
We understand that you are looking for information that could be helpful to you.
Yes, sir.
Some sort of research project relating to the ancient history of the sufferance, was it? That's what Ayla here said. Yes, my lord, yes, the sufferance, ancient history of the sufferance. Certainly nothing present or practical.
No, I'm just interested in the Mythal and how it works and so on.
Ah, yes, the Mythal is a study of much antiquity. Very interesting how the ancient primal elves built that. Of course, the sufferance was built upon the bones of giant ruins. You understand the walls and the locks there themselves, ancient from the first age. And then upon the second age, the primal elves, they built the Mythal. Many sacrificed themselves to that end.
Could such a thing be built again if need arose?
Oh, the magic of that high magic of the primal elves is lost to us, my friend. Lost. It is a pity. It is a terrible pity.
But someone so learned as yourself, you must have a theory or two as to how it might be done.
Oh, yes, but the sacrifices are forbidden, sir.
This is all just conjecture. I mean, look at me. I'm not particularly magically inclined. I couldn't do anything.
Oh, yes, well, he looks at you, Leith. He says, you, sir, have been touched.
How rude.
Oh, forgive me, I don't mean it in any sort of rude manner. I'm merely stating a fact. You have the mark of some sort of powerful being in your aura.
Again, I say, how rude.
It's fact, sir, fact. Forgive
Yes,
me, young man.
Facts you can't know on face value.
Oh, but I can. I can.
Well, you've been looking at my face, and I've been giving nothing away that there is any such thing.
Your friend is very amusing, Ayla. Very amusing. There is a presence about your presence, Mr. What is your name?
It's none of your business.
Now, you've got questions, surely perhaps you should ask them. Time is ticking.
What can you tell us about the Mythal then, if you don't know how it was created and...
Well, we do know something about how it was created. It was created by a huge sacrifice of primal elves and their blood.
And how... Oh, you finish, Adala.
Oh no, I was just
It
going...
is a sacrifice that is forbidden.
But it was more
us.
than one elf that had to be sacrificed.
Many elves. They sacrificed themselves to this greater cause.
To what purpose? What was the goal in mind? Surely it wasn't to create a prison.
We cannot be sure what the original goal was, but perhaps, he turns to you, Adric, if you were to learn the names of the inmates of the sufferance, perhaps you would be prepared to sacrifice yourself to imprison them too. For the greater good.
Are you saying that some have been there since the Second Age?
Oh, yes.
Now, surely they, after such a time, they wouldn't be much of a risk anymore. But what lives that long?
Things that grow more powerful with age, Mr. Fogdar.
You can't have too many dwarves in there.
Not many dwarves, I wouldn't think. I do have a list of names somewhere around here.
Do you?
If I can find some.
Well, that'd be interesting.
Oh, yes, there's names.
Of course, there would be a log of all the prisoners in there, wouldn't there?
Well, I don't have a log of all the prisoners, but I have some names that I've managed to collect in history books. Let me see now. Sufferance. Yes, there's... Well, of course, you probably heard of the Mind Flayer, a children's story, but it's true.
The
What?
Layers.
Mind Flayer?
Yeah, yes.
What is such a creature?
Well, from the deep Underdark, the Illithid came. Corsair of the Underlock, they called him at the time. He's what they called an Alhoon.
And what now?
Well, you see, the Mind Flayers are a telepathic race of astral slavers originally. They conquered much of the known universe. So it is said and so it is spoken. The planes of existence, they conquered many. And this one was of, shall we say, he was preoccupied with arcane magic, and thus thrown from his society. They rejected him, and he became something of a independent power, shall we say.
And how long do Illithid typically live?
Oh, I couldn't say the true details of that, but a long time, I suspect. A long time. There's another several drow prisoners in the sufferance. I suspect they've not been there as long as the Alhoon. But Zargax is reputedly the name of a creature held in the prison from the earliest of times. A vile tyrant, sometimes referred to as the Eye Tyrant, but also said to be what has been called a beholder.
What exactly is he beholding?
Everything, I suspect, everything he can. Hags, 3 hags of a coven, separated. They're kept separately upon the island. Even then, the Mythal is said to have wavered in its power to stop their arcana.
So, if a hag can wear away at a Mythal, the Mythal, so to speak, how is its power contained, especially for such a long period of time?
Well, Mythal is permanent structure.
Well, not entirely permanent, seeing the hags are wearing away at it.
Well, you see, it draws upon the power of a great Hika reservoir in the center of the earth. Centuries and centuries of magical creatures, primal elves, dwarves, dragons, giants. There's a few Orcan leaders there, I understand. I have the name. Razek is a name I have here on my list. His Dwagar Seer is reputedly the murderer of many hundred of your people, Mr. Fogdar.
How familiar is Edric with that particular name?
You've heard of Razek. He's a boogeyman of the dwarves.
I'm familiar, aye.
He still lives there.
So the Mythal
I should like to meet him.
keeps the prisoners contained.
The Mythal simply nullifies the power of all magic, artifacts, arcana.
Correct. And if there was a way to unlock the Mythal, all those creatures and beings would suddenly have their powers.
Quite possibly, yes, if you turned all the Mythal off at once.
Is there a way to turn off just part of the Mythal, or could...
Oh, well, you're not aware the Mythal has 4 guardians, 4 gates, 4 powers, yes.
Does it?
Of course.
And what exactly is the purpose of these 4 guardians and these 4 gates?
This is common sense, Mr. Fogg. Common sense. There's 4 gates, depending on which part of the sufferance one wishes to enter and how one wishes to get about. One needs to have access and power. If one is to take a prisoner there, for example, one needs to have power over said prisoner.
So each guardian has sway over a particular territory in the Mythal, then?
Yes. I understand they overlap somewhat.
And what gives them this power? Because it's something quite phenomenal if it can hold all of that in.
The Mythal, the power of the Mythal.
Aye, what gives the guardians their power over the sway of the Mythal?
The Mythal is encoded with their names.
Their names? Is that quite a procedure that you have to write on magic itself?
Well, I should say so, yes. Written into the weave itself.
You haven't been privy to one of these ceremonies, have you?
Don't be ridiculous. These ceremonies have not been performed for tens of thousands of years, Mr. Fogdar.
So the guardians aren't elven, they're...
Oh, no, Mr. Fogdar, not elven.
Not.
So what are they?
Ancient and powerful beings, I should say.
So they are bound here by the weave itself to play guard?
Essentially, yes.
Well, they are prisoners as well, then.
Oh, yes.
What? Do you know? Have you ever seen one?
No, I've never seen one. Never spent that time in the sufferance. Who would wish to spend that sort of time? I'm purely academic.
Well, that's exactly it. Why wouldn't you want to study it?
Well, I'm interested, but I'm not interested in dying, Mr. Fogdar. Nor am I interested in having the wits terrified from me.
Surely just the guardians themselves would be worthy of a lifetime of study.
If one was to see one of these guardians, I suspect one would go quite mad.
That's a sobering thought, then.
Well, yes. My personal understandings lead me to believe that the Mythal keeps these guardians in what they refer to as, in the ancient texts, as an etheric plane, somewhere between the material and the liminal.
Can the Mythal hold dragons?
I suspect it could.
Could the guardians be comprised of the souls of the elves who sacrificed themselves?
It could be comprised of those guardians, those souls, and that's not an unreasonable thought.
So then those elves who sacrificed themselves, they wouldn't be able to make their way back to the Feywild.
Well, that is true. They would not return to Arvandor, nor would they be reborn as elves. It would be a very tragic demise.
Would it not simply be kinder to free them?
To free them?
I'm aware of the nature of sacrifice, but eternity is a long time, longer than we can conceive of.
If you were to release the guardians of the Mythal, if it was even possible, and if one of us knew how, all the inmates of the Mythal, the sufferance, would at once be free and obtain back to their original powers. This could be devastating for Hynath Tirith, devastating, I suspect, for the world, and devastating perhaps even for other worlds.
So, don't release them. Gotcha.
So be careful about who we release.
Hypothetically, of course.
If
course,
we were to release them, yes.
Purely academic.
Yes.
Purely academic, yes. You're thinking about some sort of story, are you?
Aye.
No.
You wouldn't happen to want to be written into the Bard's Tales now, would you? Looks at you, Edryn.
Not particularly.
You've seen things, haven't you, young man?
That's the first time I've been called young, but at the same time, compared to you, I take that as a variant of time spent rather than bodily health. Yes.
You're concerned about your bodily health, are you?
Well, I'm not usually called young. Is simply what I meant.
I have some recipes that might help you, young man. It's dietary intakes, things that would be beneficial to the human physiology.
Ah, it would be quite interesting to see how that would go.
Of course. You tell me where your lodgings are, I'll have them sent to you.
Yes, we're lodging at the Daughters of Twilight.
Oh, and how are the Daughters of Twilight these days?
There's some trouble at Temple Solanor, naturally, because of what's happening in Vaingate.
Oh, what is happening in Vaingate? What have I missed?
Oh, has Ilar not informed you?
He looks over at Ilar. Ilar probably assumes I'm not interested in worldly business. I do have my own interests, you understand.
There's, the city's been a bit besieged. Is he a warlock or a mage? Archmage?
He's an archmage.
Archmage.
Who is this archmage?
Vorbis Talandaran.
Vorbis Talandaran. Yes.
Thank you, Leith. You got it.
So, is there any other questions I can answer for you? Oh, yes. Rakuba, Orc leader. He's in the Mythal. Ziana is a drow elven warlock. I understand.
Do I know any of these orcs he's talking about?
No.
I mean, have I heard of them? That's what I mean.
Rakuba.
Do I know them? Yeah.
Yeah, Rakuba is some sort of murderous rebel orc leader who came over the mountains at some time. Apparently slew the previous king, Durian.
Oh, that Rakuba.
Are there any Blackguard higher ups that have have some sway over the Mythal? I mean, it's all well and good to leave it nigh immortal guardians, but they can't be controlled, can they?
Now I can see why the confusion comes to you, young man. The thing you must recall is that it is not the Blackguards directly who have any sway over the Mythal. They instead have endeavored to take control of the Red Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the Red Guard are just the Sufferance's guards themselves.
That is correct. They have a name among themselves. They have sometimes called themselves the Knights of the Order of the High Seal. But they have other names too.
So how do these Knights of the Order maintain control over the Mythal then? If these guardians are, you know what they are.
Well, he looks at you each. Keys. They have keys to the Mythal. The keys were thought lost for a long time until the city of Hymithtyrith was established in the Third Age. By a long-lost king, one of the Urithani, in fact. One of the first in the line. In the out-of-game, do you remember that huge litany of Arithani kings that I gave you during your introduction and ceremony as you joined the Order of the Servants of the Fox?
Yes.
This huge list of names. Yeah, well, one of those first kings on that list apparently is the one that tamed the Mythal per se.
And if one were to want to locate one of these keys, so to speak, how would one do so?
Locating the keys, I couldn't help you there, sir. I'm afraid that's beyond my purview. You would need all sorts of authority, I suspect, from the Blackguards, possibly from the king.
You couldn't just go knock on the gate and go, can I have a look at your key?
He pats you on the head. You are a very humorous dwarf.
Well.
So there are keys.
4 keys.
And the Red Guard, or the paladins of the Sufferance, they do actually possess them.
I should say they do. At least one of them, if not all of them.
You wouldn't happen to have any names, hypothetically.
Any names? Who possesses the keys?
Aye.
Oh, well, it has long been said that, can I trust you? I suppose I have no choice. Out of game.
What would I do with such knowledge anyway? The Sufferance is full of vile murderers, dragons, and worse.
I can give you one name. If you were to seek out Ilanus Lia Ferahel, she is an ancient elf and high commander among the Blackguard. She has been the rector of the Red Guards for centuries, as far as anyone can remember.
Is she older than elves normally get?
Strange question.
Well, I'm aware that you lived for several centuries, but the way you implied her ancients makes me believe she's older still.
She is a very old elf, Mr.
Older than
Faulkner.
you?
Older than I. She was the rector of the Red Guard before I was born, and she has maintained that position all this time. When King Erethanai, the new one, took over Sidariel Tularathion but a century ago, when Durian passed away, unfortunate that accident, I must say. When that happened, he put her in a position whereabouts she was forced to succumb and hand over said keys to the Blackguard. It is said that the Blackguard now control the Order of the Reds.
Is it possible that they could be contained in a box?
The keys?
Hey, how big are they? Like a fist size, standard key? Are they as large as him?
I couldn't tell you the details of these keys. There is a story that this city, Hemeth Tirith, was built upon an ancient tomb behind the waterfall, said to contain the keys, but it is said that those keys were long since found and taken and have been used since then. So I assume the Red Guard have them.
Of course, this is all purely academic. Who would go beneath the waterfall anyway?
Who would go beneath the waterfalls? But yet I hear you did, Mr. Faulkner.
Couldn't possibly. It must have been another handsome dwarf.
Lost a member of your party, I hear. They
Well.
fell to their death, did they? In a manner of speaking.
A death happened.
Aye. Well,
What does the exact origin of these Red Guards?
they were formed as an order of paladins, the beginning of the Second Age, and their line has remained almost, and I say almost, unbroken. They were re-established several hundred years ago, perhaps closer to 1,000 years ago, re-established along the same bloodlines as the original paladins, so they were reassembled in a way, not the same exact members, but their traditions were not ever entirely lost. They were written down and they were redeveloped, as it were. And so the second, what you might call, there's a word for this, out of game.
Duration?
Yeah, we could use that term, but that's not what I was looking for. This second wave, duration of Red Guards, they are, I should think, more corruptible.
Aye. And if one were to want to pay this Ilanis, the Farahel, a visit, where would they locate her, hypothetically?
Well, I should think that the keep would be a place to look. Barad Shah Marathil, the tower keep of the Bane of Hemeth Tirith. That is the official place of the Black Guards and their training headquarters. They have also barracks at the Hemeth Tirith at the Summer Palace. She sits on the High Council.
Have you ever
Gudael.
met-
I think Gudael's just passed out again. I'm not sure.
She's just passed out.
She's passed out again. Is she all right? Do this often, does she?
Oh
Yes.
She'll come to in a moment.
She'll be fine.
Comes in waves.
I see.
It's been a wee bit of an exciting time since we got to the city.
This young lady all right then? Is she well?
Better than most.
Orikaw gets by her so she doesn't fall anywhere.
It's quite complicated, but very wrapped up in her chancing. So
I see.
It's all under control. Thank you.
A bit like her mother then, I suspect.
Possibly, yes.
Isla looks at him for a moment. We shall speak about this later, sir. Do you have any other questions?
No, I believe my curiosity has been sated. Gentlemen?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, one thing. Does Ilanus seem happy?
Ilanus happy.
Hey, well, it's... You said they were more or less strong-armed by the Blackguard. Is she happy?
Well, I should think that if she's been strong-armed by the Blackguard, probably she's not happy.
It was just worth checking.
I suspect that you might wish to look into this yourself. Make your
Does she
own
have any-
decision there.
Does she have any family?
I'm not sure of her specific lineage. I am not a lineage record keeper per se. I am a historian, but I have some of that information, but it's not my specialty.
So you don't know if she's had any great-grandchildren just hanging around at a bar or something?
I'm not aware of any, sir. I'm not aware of any.
Yeah, fair enough.
There might be some family. I'm sure there is, must be.
Well, I'm convinced.
Very well.
But wait, one moment. Is Edric convinced? Edric's lying. Can I roll an insight check to see if he's bullshitting me?
Okay, you can make an insight check.
Hell yeah. That is a 17.
A 17 with advantage. You get the impression that he's not even sure.
Fair enough.
You get the impression that he's not lying to you so much as he doesn't know the answer. He's
Alright.
Do I have the intelligence to kind of... Because he said just like her mother.
right.
Do I have the intelligence to put two and two together?
We can make a check for you. Let's see. This is a straight intelligence check, and it's a 5, so I'm going to say no. Not today. Not today, matey.
That's alright.
No? Okay.
Well, sir, we don't want to keep you too long. I'm sure that you've got much to do. Gentlemen, was there anything else, or shall we be making our way?
I think we're quite good.
Yes, and you should look after this young lady here. Passed out. Yes.
Well taken care of.
Yes.
Out of game? Okay, so which one of you carries Gudael?
Me.
Alright.
Edric tries, but always not mine.
Orikaw takes over. Your job's been stolen, Edric.
Edric's not happy about it.
Right. Some stranger has just come in here and taken over your job.
He's not happy.
Not happy at all. No.
Oh.
All right then. So upon leaving the property of Azariah, where do you go?
I might pop to a library. I might pop to a library if that's all right with you, gentlemen.
That's perfectly fine by me. Shall we all go? Probably considering our breakfast fiasco this morning, it might be best to stay together.
Now, incidentally, there are eateries and things on the streets of Highbrook. It's not as if there isn't street food. It just happens to be sold by the underclass most of the time.
That's not a problem.
So, if you wanted like cakes or, pies, blackbird pies, for example, or whatever, they're definitely available.
I mean, Edric is keen on a cake, but Edric's got no fucking money.
Right, because he spent it all on full plate armor.
I know, he made a reasonable purchase and has bitten him in the ass.
Right, now he's got...
Would you like a cake, Edric?
I'll happily buy you cake, Edric.
No, he kicks a rock. I couldn't. Well, if you insist, I will. If you wanted to have a cake and I was there and we had cake together, I would be very grateful.
We could even eat it as well.
We could have our cake and then eat it as well. You're right.
Yes.
We could have our cake and eat it too, yes.
In the distance, you can see a group of jugglers running past on their way to the festival that is currently underway, the Festival of the Wheel, Day 3, as they run to what you believe is called the March of the Suns.
Well, all this elven custom. Do you want to go see that?
Yes, I'm certainly interested, but only if we have time.
Remember, that Gudael is laying over Orikaw's shoulder right now.
No, she's literally in his arms.
She's in his arms, okay.
Yeah.
We should get some cake for when she wakes up.
Yeah,
I'm sure she'd like that.
She's not a piece of pork.
Okay.
Are there any eel-based foods?
Eel-based
I thought you were going to say eel-based cake for a second. I was like, man, you're a madman.
Well, you ask the first person that you see, and they say, we don't have that, but I can tell you where to get it. And so if you go down to the lower district, the lower quarters, it's like the southwest quarter, for example, they will have those types of foods. They have various human foods and dwarven foods, even a couple of halfling stalls down there.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome, sir.
Turn to Edric. We quite like our eels in Vanderhold.
Well, I'm not here to have
something
dwarven
of a delicacy.
Food. I'm not here to have dwarven food. Let's have some of those eels then.
Yes. And then I should probably head off to the library, and then you can go visit this juggling act, the Sun March.
I'll come with you to the library. Best we keep together. I'm not a huge fan of juggles anyway.
All right. So is everyone going to go to the library then?
Yeah, we're all going to go to the library.
So you get to the library, and they're not going to let you in carrying a body.
Then I'll stay outside and sit down.
All right. Very well. So the other three of you, are you planning all to go in? Leith, are you going in?
I think so, yeah.
All right. So the three of you head into the library. Well, Orikaw sits outside with Gudael's sleeping body. Now, she's not literally sleeping. She's actually twitching around and shuddering at this point, Orikaw.
Has anybody got a cloak?
These guys are gone.
I'm going to find a place where they sell cloaks.
You've got a cloak. You're wearing a cloak.
Oh, I'll put my cloak on her then.
All right. Very good. Okay, so you're going to try and sort of conceal her with that, or
yeah, I'm going to conceal her a bit with that.
All right. Shall we make a check? I think this is essentially a deception check. It's charisma based, but yeah, because it's kind of body language comes into it. All right. So we'll make a charisma check, and that's a mighty 13. So you don't draw any attention. You manage to keep the attention off yourself during this time while the other three are in the library. What are you going to do in the library, ladies and gentlemen?
Ethan, do you know what we're looking for?
I haven't actually thought that far ahead.
There is. I would like if we can find out any more about this crown we found.
Oh yes.
Yes, I'm a little
Yes.
bit knowledge is forewarned or something along that.
Considering where we got it, I'd consider we look into. Well, let's see. Seeing as the Mythal was built on top of during the Second Age, something around that, because it was part of the Mythal's construction. I'm assuming this tomb, that or a graveyard, as at a guess.
Something to do with undead.
Broad territory.
Right.
Yes, broad territory, but probably not extensively academically put in libraries.
Well,
But if we do, however, also if you come across mention of that that thing we found on the ship, that would also be very, very good.
The what's it called again? The evil crown.
The Crown of Ire.
Or the crown.
That's it.
The crown
of
and
Ire.
the book.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yes,
So can
if
I
we
get
come
some
across any-
investigation checks from you guys?
Hell yeah.
Investigation.
Oh,
So
do I get to use my
12.
my eyes of minute seeing to get advantage?
Tasty 19.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, just wondering.
Okay.
Oh, I might take my inspiration here.
You're gonna use your inspiration.
Damn. All right, Edryn, you found it.
No, I'll save it.
Wow. Okay. So Edryn, that was a 22 and a 23. Which one of those is the roll?
Well, if it's with advantage, then the higher of the two.
I see. Okay, so that was with advantage. I see. So 23. All right, Edryn. You find reference, Edryn, in one of the books that you find here to a couple of things. You find reference to the Crown of Ire.
Mm-hmm.
The Crown of Ire was said to belong to a king from the Second Age, indeed, who was cursed for having tried to become a lich and failed. And there is reference to none other than your good friend, the first lich named in your book. Do you remember the name that I gave you? He's going to look.
I have it in my book.
You have it in your book.
I have it written down.
You have it written down. Well, anyway, that particular name is there. And you discover that beneath the main city of Highbrook, or at least beneath the palace, or beneath each level of each tier of the city, are a series of tombs and crypts where the dead are buried, catacombs under each level. So that basically people don't go underground here except to deal with the dead. And the underground is literally seen to them as the underworld, in Highbrook at least. Much the way that the Greeks referred to the underworld as being literally under the ground. And so they bury their dead in these crypts beneath the ground and they seal them up. And they've been doing this for centuries, and so these crypts are very, very deep indeed. And the second crown, the crown that you found most recently, seems to match the crown of yet another king, said to have been cursed for some sort of transgression against the people, essentially. The false witness using the law in a way that was considered to be selfish and evil.
All right.
He drew these dark powers upon himself, so it is said, and thus was marked by none other than the Raven Queen. Actually, I lie, not the Raven. I lie, not the Raven Queen, because the Raven Queen is actually anti-undead, so that's not how it happened at all. I lie. Thus, well, it could have been marked by the Raven Queen to never set foot in the Shadowfell. That makes sense. That does make sense.
Yeah.
Banned. The Banhammer fell.
Basically banned.
Banhammer.
Does that mean like basically banned to not be able to pass on? Because if they can't enter the Shadowfell,
Right. Cannot
You're
be
doomed to be spooky as hell forever.
You shall not reincarnate. You shall not come to the Shadowfell. You shall not collect $500 or pass go.
The Raven Queen is R&D at Wizards of the Coast, are they?
Right. So what other questions did you have?
I think that was it, unless there was also any mention of the book, but I suppose that would come along with the reference of Litchy McLitch Man.
Yeah, so the Crown of Ire, yeah, it hasn't been seen for centuries, many hundreds of centuries, in fact, probably since the beginning of the Second Age, round about the beginning of the Second Age. So a long time. Similarly with your book.
Yes, all right. So I think we're good. We're not good. We're in a little bit of a pickle.
A little bit of a pickle.
Well,
yes, it seems.
aren't we always?
It seems that this crown is cursed in a familiar way, but not in the same way as the Crown of Ire that we found. So the Crown of Ire is owned by a cursed king, who I think tried to do a little bit more worse than the one that we have currently in our possession.
Alright, so that's a baby crown. It's bad, but not evil.
I wouldn't entirely negate that label. I would
Evil
say
adjacent.
maybe not as... I would say not as vile as the Crown of Ire, but
Right.
still particularly negative, I think is probably...
We could call this the Crown of Vile, and I'll play with it later and see if it has any powers.
Right. Yes, that would be interesting.
Because
I might...
I've got an idea for it. It's more like, I'll talk to you about that later.
Right. I dislike ideas. Not yours specifically, just...
I've had nothing but good ideas.
No, that is very true, but I remember Leith, your mentor, suggesting using the Crown of Ire for the gain of the servants of the Fox, and I wasn't particularly sure that was the best course of action with such a item.
Well, yes, yes, I don't think we should necessarily follow that advice, but
No, I think it'd be good if...
but we should at least keep them in mind.
Yes. I want to keep an eye on all of these things that evidently have not been seen for hundreds of years, and yet suddenly we've run into them.
Oh.
So
Well,
it
better
makes
now.
me awfully... Yes, that makes me awfully cautious.
Right. Well, Orikaw, after some time, Gudael, who has been shaking and convulsing for a little bit, starts to come to.
You want a drink of water?
Did we get cake?
Sound.
Yeah, we did.
Gudael,
Would you
you
care
want
for
a
some,
drink of water?
or would you care for some cake?
Cake? Water, yes. Where did the cake come from?
So
With
you're currently sitting outside a library, Gudael, with Orikaw.
oh no, I'm not out there, am I?
You
Not
want a
unless
drink
you
of-
suddenly emerge from the library.
Yeah.
You could do, but you know, it's
Just
Do you
punches
wanna-
his way through a window. Yo, want some cake?
Do you want a drink of water and some cake?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Orikaw.
So, Gudael, you've just had one of your visions. Whichever one was the first one on the list that we created.
The list.
Lady Taryn, darling, can I have my cloak back, please?
Oh. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
It's-
Thank you.
Makes a rather good tent for me, doesn't it?
It does. Hide you well.
Interesting.
Orikaw, can you make a perception check? I'll make the dice roll. You notice somebody standing in the crowd who has... You've seen them 2 or 3 times this day. A blonde female figure, short hair cropped at the shoulders, carrying a longbow, wearing a green cloak.
Lady Talandaran, to your right, there is a young lady. She is, she's blonde, she's dressed in a long cloak, and she has a longbow. You don't happen to know who that might be, would you?
I feel as though I may have seen the back of her head before.
You're still reeling from the vision that you've just had.
Can't be quite sure. Orikaw, have you been in Hymithtyrth for long?
Long enough, my lady.
Have you ever heard of the city having troubles with floods?
Floods. Not in my time, but my time is shorter than your time.
Yeah. It would be... Yes.
You would know more about that than me.
Oh, I'll tell you, because it's kind of an amusing vision. I had a sort of dream, if you will, that we were in the palace and there was some kind of festive event going on. And the palace flooded.
Orikaw, can you make a insight check? We're making an insight check.
Mine have sucked lately, so...
It's a 10. It's a 10. So, Lady Talandaran, perhaps you'd like to make a deception check against his 10. Because I happen to know that you're withholding information.
Deception check. Ha ha, it's a 14.
Ooh, okay. All right. Good. He does not pick up on your deception then. So you're in the palace and there's a flood and there's some sort of event going on.
What kind of event, my lady?
Oh, perhaps it might look a bit like a wedding.
I have orders to help you with your visions.
Orders to help me with my visions?
And keep you safe.
From whom?
Do we have to go through this again?
Oh, the same person. Of course it would be the same person. Is this person who gave you these orders, is it someone you trust?
More than your father.
Something, I suppose.
Could be
Very
anybody. Could be that merchant over there. It could be that stray cat.
So, how is it that we come to be at the library eating cake?
Well, you had one of your moments. You went to, I believe you have a condition.
Yes, from childhood, pretty much.
And I did hear what he said, didn't I? Or did I?
Yeah.
From childhood, you say?
Yes. It began,
Can you roll my intelligence?
Sure can.
the first time was actually the day that the nursemaid brought me out for my first sword practice lesson.
It's a 5, Barry.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be. I had a funny feeling. It's something niggling me, obviously, but it's not coming over the mountain.
Right.
All right. So this vision, how can I help you with it?
Oh, I don't know.
Do we have to go to some place?
Oh, not this one. I don't think. A flood in the palace. Sometimes they're quite symbolic. Sometimes oh, like the one I had years ago about the sword in the tree, and then we didn't know what it meant until just last night. So hopefully, if it's a wedding vision, it doesn't happen for another 50 years. Unless it's somebody else's wedding.
Was it yours?
That I do not know. I'm just feeling a little uneasy about the whole wedding thing at the moment, so I'd prefer to think it wasn't mine, but...
You sort of think it wasn't yours.
It may have been mine, well, but like I said, hopefully not. I can't imagine that my wedding would be taking place in the palace.
Your father is a man of influence, is he not?
I suppose if it would amuse the king for a wedding to take place there, then it could happen that way.
I suppose it could amuse the king, he says, scratching his tusk. Anyway, how do you feel?
A bit woozy, but I'll try standing.
I can continue to carry you if you wish.
No. No, that's okay. Might look a little strange.
I am a servant. You are my mistress.
Yes, well.
And I am nothing but a half-orc.
Well, as it turns out, Orikaw, I've been learning that half-orcs may be more than what I previously supposed.
Not all of them. Like with you people, there are good and bad in every bunch.
Right, so, you guys back in the library.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, so going through books, yep.
I wanted to see if, because I don't think from either the book that I read or from any of the books in the library, I've gotten a clear idea of what has actually happened to Zebasius Israel Darian. I found his name.
Aha!
I never really, I haven't found out what happened to Darian, so I didn't know if there was any mention in these of what became of his fate.
What became of his fate? Well, he was eventually defeated and sent and banished to the Shadowfell, according to the books. There's stories that wasn't actually what happened, though. There's rumors that he became a great dark lord and rules over his own domain. Excuse me. So, yeah, it's conflicting stories is what you end up with when you go down that road.
Right. Very good. But the official ruling is that he got banished to the Shadowfell.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And there's lots of very impressive looking images of that story. Somebody spent a lot of money commissioning paintings and drawings and etchings of that story in a number of different books. So much so that it's been etched into the minds of the population, particularly the Illuminati population, shall we say?
The occult.
Yeah.
Kinda. Awesome. Very good. I'll start pushing my books back and mage handing them back into their places, and I think we've found what is good for today. Shall we go investigate? Oh yes.
As you're mage handing your books back into their places, you hear a collective gasp.
Ah, shit.
Oh goodness! Who's doing that?
You want to make a performance check?
Yeah.
Oh heavens! What's that ghostly thing I'm doing there?
Inspiration. I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Can
roll that.
Can I assist him so he doesn't have to use his inspiration? Never mind.
He's using
13.
13. Okay. It takes a minute for the sort of gasping and collective kind of minor freak out to dissipate, but it eventually does. And you're like sort of feeling a bit relieved at that point. Nobody's pointed any fingers at you per se.
This place might be haunted. Let's leave swiftly.
There's ghosts in the books.
And you just, as they're leaving, Edryn's just going. He's just shitting on himself quietly as they're leaving.
If only he had a flail to flagellate with.
Yeah,
around the
but
corner.
no, he's doing that mentally.
He could do it with his mage hand.
It's following me.
It's following me. Oh no.
It's following me. Stop.
Just flipping him off the whole way.
Right. Okay, so you get
It's like
outside
these
and you
ghosts.
find Orikaw and Gudael having a little chat. Gudael
good
looks a
morning,
little
fella.
flustered, by the way. I suspect. I could be wrong.
Look for that girl again.
She's still standing over there. Or is she?
Is it Gudael?
Did you meet Cariel?
Yeah, she was the ranger, right?
That's right. Yes, you met Cariel. Yeah, so she's lurking in the crowd at a distance.
Gonna try and
Do any of you know a young lady that's a ranger by any stretch of the imagination?
We met one recently. Where is she?
To your left.
Oh. And
Yeah,
Edryn's
she's the
gonna
one.
just beckon for her to come over.
Okay, so Adric, you're beckoning for her to come over. She comes sort of wandering in your direction without really looking at you exactly. And she says, as she passes you, she says, the tea house to the right.
I could use a cup of tea.
To go down with that cake, aye.
Yes.
Right, so you go into the tea house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, yes. All right, so you guys head off into the tea house, and there's a servant there who offers to sell you some tea. obviously, because it's a tea house, and there's a large list of teas that you can purchase here. All sorts of cherry blossom teas and green teas and other colours and other types of all sorts of stuff. And then there's all of the mixings that go with that as well. So long story short, you end up sitting down at a table in the corner, and there's a curtain behind that you can sit behind to give you a certain amount of privacy. And Cariel's sitting there, and she says, "This is dangerous. Do you need to tell me something?"
No, you are watching us.
I
I
am.
thought you'd come with news.
I'm not with news. I merely watch.
Were you intending to do so secretly?
I think the secret is gone. I thought perhaps it would be, what's the word I'm looking for? Just good for you to know that I was there.
Fair. An extra pair of eyes is always welcome.
Aye.
So how have you enjoyed the festivities so far?
The festivities. I enjoyed the hunt. Some of it, not all of it.
Which part?
Well, I did not enjoy the way that the high elves here slaughtered their animals, chased them down and murdered them, gave them no heed.
Well, no, that was a bit gratuitous.
The sons of the Erithani line seem to have lost their way, at least here in Highbrook. Nonetheless, what can be done?
Aye.
Yes, Gudael.
Has the deterioration been gradual enough that Gudael would have remembered hunts the way it used to be, or would she have been raised up?
She would have seen the original, the hunts before that time, and seen how Ivran's version of the Great Hunt, the Great Wild Hunt, has deteriorated quite rapidly into this debauched kind of thing that it is. Yeah. You've seen worse too, to be honest, Gudael, in the privacy of your family's company, where King Ivran has done things like taken criminals and sent them out in front of the hunt. At the time, this was kind of to be expected. They were criminals, after all, and you were taught that they had done very bad things, and this is what they deserved, and this was justice.
Kiriel, you're someone that knows things, eh? Or knows how to find certain things out.
What are you looking for, Mr. Fogdar?
Well, there's a gate.
You
in
would
our
be
lodge.
wanting me to leave now?
No, you're fine. You're fine. There's a gate in our lodgings that needs opening, and we believe that there may be someone that knows where we could find the key. By a guard, perchance, by the name of Elanus. Do you know perhaps where we could find her? She's quite high-ranking. In command, so to speak.
I could help you with that.
Aye, well, it's quite important that we know where to find her, exactly.
I see. I will do my duty diligently and return with what information I can find before sunset.
That's perfect.
The very least, I will be able to tell you what I haven't found.
Often that's more useful, to be fair.
Perhaps.
And Edric also tells her where that we looks over at Gudael to see if he has permission to tell her about the wedding. Oh, not the wedding, the meeting, because that's the times intersect vaguely.
Oh, Yes, we do have a dinner to attend to, don't we?
Aye.
Well, if there's any information that is to be found, I will find it. Do you wish me to bring the information directly to you?
Might be best we'll wait until we return to our lodgings, just in case.
I see. Very well. I'll wait there then. Or I'll
Thank you
send
as
you a
always.
messenger.
Do we know what to look for with this messenger? Perhaps.
She holds up a foxtail.
Perfect.
Russell,
Yes, sir.
do I have any way of getting in touch with my employer?
With your employer.
You do tonight.
Well, you'll be seeing her this evening.
Ah, you weren't supposed to say him. No.
I've
Okay.
been
I have an
Okay.
inkling.
the same. Oh, I had an inkling pre.
Oh, look at you, Max Easy, with your nat 20 intelligence score. You're so smart.
Well, sorry,
Okay.
your overtired DM who's had no sleep virtually for the last 24 hours failed his intelligence check there, Barry, so I apologize for letting the cat out of the bag.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm sure not everybody gets it or even cares, so...
But am I allowed near her at all?
You could approach her.
Okay, so there's nothing weird in that.
You could put a note on her table or something as you passed.
Okay, all right. All right.
All right.
Gudael.
Yes, Edryn.
If I might, when you fainted in most recently, what was the name of your brother's mentor?
Azariah.
Azariah.
Mm-hmm.
When you fainted and Azariah asked after you, he mentioned, when we explained what your circumstance was, he mentioned that it was perhaps similar to something that your mother suffered from, at which point your brother said, I'll talk to you about it later. And it seemed imprudent for me to bring up, especially since I'm not a Talandaran. But I didn't know if you already knew a connection between that. He seems to have at least thought that whatever happened to you, with the context that we gave, and whatever happened to you when you fainted, it somehow related to a previous occurrence that happened to your mother.
Are you saying that my mother had fits as well?
I'm saying that from what we described to Azariah, he seems to have thought there was a correlation between what happened to you then and something that happened to your mother, whether that was intrinsically linked.
Does the penny drop now?
what.
Yeah, let's make another check for you there, Orikaw.
Because he's not king of stupid.
Gonna make an insight check, and
Stop.
the
Hey.
dice roll is an 18. Clickety click.
We gonna get some Gudael lore.
Gudael law.
That's what we want.
So
But
yes,
if my
Barry.
mother was having fits as a young person, then why wouldn't her mother be more understanding? I
She
have
would
thought.
have to keep it a secret, surely.
Did you you got sent away because of these fits, correct?
I was hidden. I don't know. Did they send me away? No,
To the Daughters of Twilight in Vaingate.
Oh, that was my decision, and they were somewhat relieved when I
Right.
took myself away from Highbrook.
Your mother is my employer. She said that I was to help you with your visions, no matter where they might lead you.
Did she?
But your father knows nothing.
So, my mother is potentially the best actress I've ever encountered.
Maybe more sympathetic than we thought.
It
That
would
is
appear.
why I am here. I am to be your protector.
Then she really does not want to marry me off. Surely.
You may believe that's the safest place for you. That's something to keep in mind.
Might be setting you up for something larger.
I don't know the other part of a reason, do I, Russell?
Nope.
Or maybe it's not your mother who wants to marry you off. Could it just be your father wants to do what noble fathers do and get you married off? I don't think your mother's going to particularly speak out against him, is she?
No, she doesn't tend to. She tends to be his most ardent supporter. Perhaps the best thing to do is to go to this dinner and try to find out as much as we can.
All right.
Does sound like a good move, yes.
And let Cariel do her investigation.
Cariel's left by now.
Quite like Old's cloak and dagger. It's quite fun.
Cloak and hammer, in your case.
No, I'm not exactly quite.
Well,
He's like, sneak, sneak, sneak.
Chink, chink.
I was about to say, I don't know how much she's sneaking.
Yeah, that's true.
Edric's got a 0 and a disadvantage to steal. It's almost as bad as it possibly could be.
Where did the cake come from, anyway?
Yeah, cake shop on the way to the
Oh.
library.
Street
Aye.
vendors.
It had a peculiar name. It was Godfrey's Glorious Cakes, but the cake was written to look like a G. I'm sure it was a joke. Godfrey's Glorious Cakes, but stupid.
That's terrible.
And you spent money on this, okay.
Oh, did you not like it? I thought it was marvelous.
No, it was.
No, I thought it was very good as well.
A chef, he is. A sign writer and creative, he is not, I'm afraid.
Very good. So, off to House Talandaran?
Aye, why not?
Leith, as you're sitting there pondering your teacup, you have this strange shift of perspective where the teacup becomes this kind of strange, almost like a castle for a moment, and the saucer takes the place of this large tower top, like a rampart. And around the side of it, you hear this clipping sound, clippity-clop of horse hooves. And then you find yourself inside this vision, standing on this bright, shining, white rampart next to this black unicorn with this beard, this huge black spike from its head, rearing next to you. Mistralath. Time is running short now. Here in Azariah, time runs ever shorter. Time is running out.
Whereabouts is this?
That is
what
not
am I looking at
important.
here?
This place is not important, Leith. The words I am telling you. Listen.
Yes.
Time itself here runs out.
Yes, you're
Sidariel turns faster and faster.
You're saying we should move now, lest we lose time?
That is one thing I am saying among all the others, yes.
Very good. I will... Should I tell the others? Yes?
You must do what you must do, but you must consider time is shorter. It grows shorter every day. Those of us that live for indeterminate periods are beginning to see the lightening of our days. Time is speeding up.
Leith is just going to sit up from this and go, we must act now.
The goddess must be restored, Mr. Lath. You will need the help of Gudael and her brother.
We must. We must go now.
Go where?
To your brother.
To my brother?
To your brother, yes.
Alar? Ilar? Sorry.
You must not dawdle, Mr. Lath, but you must not take foolish risks.
Ren, I believe. And he looks back down into the cup and goes, Ren?
The vision ceases.
Are you all right, Leith?
We must... I saw a vision of a castle. And I was told we must go to your brother now.
And Coral, just Coral, has contributed 4,000 divinity towards, I assume that's towards the Resurrection Challenge.
Hell yeah.
So you're now at 40% towards Milford Brixton.
Thank you,
I
Coral.
fear that it will not be enough. I fear that Milford may yet stay dead.
We have 1 week to go.
You've got one week left, Barry, to raise another 60% of 1,500 divinity. We're going to have to get some more viewers in here with divinity to bring that up. Yeah, afraid to say it. It's not looking good. But I mean, it was very nice of Coral to add 4,000 divinity towards your cause. But we're going to need more.
Yes, very nice. Thank you.
Yes. Anyhow.
I saw a castle and was told of your brother.
So what were the instructions exactly?
I'm not clear, but time is running out. This is what I was told, and that we must reunite Dala with her brother.
Well, that's why we're here in Leith, but
well,
we've got a few steps to get there.
There are things greater than us for which time is running out.
Sure.
Yes, but if we
end up barking up the wrong tree.
If we end up rushing it, we could end up prisoners ourselves, or worse.
Well,
if we simply run into that, where we're going now, that's not going to end well, from what our reconnaissances, illuminated.
Well, I think we should hasten our research.
We can only wait until Kiriel gets back to us.
Yes. Well, it's not something we want to rush into. If we end up unlocking the entire Mythal, we could unleash the bloody 9 hells upon the whole world.
I understand that.
Can I get perception checks from all of you guys?
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's a natural one.
Oh,
tasty 8.
Leith is just so concerned over this vision.
So concerned, and also you've got your back to the door, I suspect.
Probably.
Yeah. Orikaw, 18.
Ladies 14.
That was a while ago, actually. A ladies 14. Excellent. A lady's
A
14.
corpulent
Orika.
13.
Perception for Orika. Perception.
Tasty
perception,
8.
perception. Here we go. Oh, that's a 7 plus 3 is 10. Oh, okay, Orika, you're not noticing this. You're obviously deep in thought. But
Who's blowing up the tea shop?
what did we get? Who got the highest here? Who got the highest here? I'm trying to find the log.
Gudael and Edryn.
Okay, so Gudael and Edryn. Okay, so you guys both notice a figure walk into the tea shop. A female elven figure. It's not Cariel. This lady is clearly a noble. And Gudael, you know all of the emblems of all of the high houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you recognize the emblem on her wrist when she comes in, and she wears the banner of the Firahel about her wrists. She looks about the tea house and smiles in your direction, throws back her hood, revealing platinum blonde hair. And she walks across to your table and she sits down. And she says, "You were looking for me."
Oh. Am I?
You notice that all of the patrons of the tea house have left in the last 30 seconds.
Ilanis Leah Farahel, I presume.
Quite. Now, how may I be of service?
Indeed. Are you still the head of the Red Guard?
Indeed I am.
And you know who I am?
I have some fair idea of your lineage. Is this some sort of trick?
No.
Have you been sent to me by your father?
Absolutely not.
I should hope not, for I think I have made it clear to him that I will not be badgered, or shall I give 1/4 to him in his demands?
Has he been making demands?
You're not aware of this.
No.
I do not believe that you are lying, Talandaran.
What is he demanding? Are you able to tell me?
I'm not sure that I should. How can I trust you? You are, after all, a Talandaran, and the daughter of one particular Talandaran, whom I must admit my cause is at odds with, and my cause is very ancient.
Well, it appears that by the day, my cause is very much at odds with my father's cause as well.
I see. And who are these companions of yours?
This is Leith Mistralath,
She
Edryn Montcoff,
raises a hand to you, Leith.
Adric Fogdar,
Pleasure to meet you.
and a new friend,
She
Orikaw.
she continues holding her hand up in front of you, Leith.
I'll take it.
She continues holding her hand up in front of you.
I will kiss it.
Very good. You'll notice that she has a seal and a ring on her hand.
I'll kiss the ring.
Very good. I
Is it a seal that we should
need to
recognize?
charm you, did I? I didn't even need to charm you.
Do I notice what the seal is?
The seal is of the... it's very similar to the Black Guard seal, but it's not. It's different. And Leith, you're not aware of what it is. You are aware of the Black Guard seal, for sure. You know all about that. But this is a bit different to that. And it is embedded in the Firahel seal as well. So it is her family sigil along with that. These two things are interlined, interwoven. A pleasure to meet you, Leith.
And you too, my lady.
She smiles.
Have we met before?
We have not met before, I do not think.
Very good.
And you, she turns to you, Mr. Fogdale.
Hey.
I do not request that you submit any sort of authority to I, for we shall be friends.
Thank you. That would be most graciously accepted.
She looks at you, Orikaw. She sizes you up and smiles. And then she says, you shall be released of your services soon enough. Fear not. There is plenty of life left in you.
I hope so, my lady.
I feel the pain that emanates from your heart deeply. She turns to you. Yep.
There are many secrets I have had to keep.
We all bear secrets, my friend. Some of them for the sake of others. Many of them, in fact. And she turns to Montcoff. A lord in our presence of a faraway realm.
You make it sound a lot more exotic than it actually is.
She smiles and laughs. Dear, you are from where exactly?
Vanderhold.
There is trouble in Vanderhold.
Yes.
But there is trouble in many places on these days.
Seems to be going round.
It is, and it shall not stop. It shall get worse, I fear.
How can you say that?
How can I say that?
How do you know it will get worse?
Armies are marching, my lady. There are soldiers with plans already at odds. Events have begun. Wheels are turning. This festival of the wheel is most apt.
Dala, things have been bad in places the sun doesn't see for a long time. And bad things tend to rise from beneath the ground. So, well, it's only your turn now.
Or they may
But you're
appear
from beneath
on,
the ground.
or they may appear on far-off shores, mightn't they, Mr. Montcoff?
Yes, and they might occur on repetitively.
Repetitively? What do you mean by this?
It's just not the first time something not entirely good has washed up on Vanderholdian shores and has caused a lot of trouble for people.
I see. There was another thing?
Yes, some I'd say some years back, but probably nothing for the lifetime of elves.
I see. Well, if you have more questions,
Yes.
I invite you to my house. And she puts down a parchment on the table.
Before you go, if you don't mind, lady, I would like to inquire about the welfare of a prisoner in the sufferance.
Yes, your brother, of course.
Yes.
He is alive.
Is he well?
He is alive. he has not yet gone mad.
Is madness common?
Very common, Mr. Fogdar. All inmates receive ultimately some form of madness in the sufferance.
And out of curiosity, does this make them more or less dangerous?
It depends on the specific circumstance. Usually it makes them more dangerous to themselves. Now I'm aware that Leith, Steve needs to get offline ASAP around 10.
Yeah.
So I think we shall call it here for that reason primarily. And we can pick up
Thank you.
during this.
Appreciate that.
We can pick up during this conversation, if you like, next game. Is that all right with everyone?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, anyone that's watching right now, and all future viewers, for sticking with us and watching the Vaingate Chronicles. I hope you have a lovely evening. Don't forget to bring your divinity points to help revive Milford Brixton from the Shadowfell. And
You only have 7 days to do so.
you have 7 days to do so. And
Bring
Please
back
save our
Brixton.
boy.
right,
Save our boy.
save Milford Brixton. And beyond that, if you can't be fucked with that, you can always send some money to Gaming for Charity, which is probably the more noble cause, honestly. So yeah. But if you want a really noble cause, you can send us money. No, I'm just kidding. You can do that too, but don't do that until you've done the other two things. Do those two things first, then you can send us money. We'll appreciate that. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and let Steve go. So everyone have a lovely night, and adios.
And you
Goodbye,
and
friends.
everybody else.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.